Hey guys, this is Orlando with Filmatic, and I hope you're doing well. I want to talk to you about why you're backing up your footage all wrong. Now, I know there's a bunch of different people that'll tell you to do all kinds of crazy things. I'm going to give you the most simple solution of how to take care of your footage and your client's footage. Okay, so what's my experience with footage? I've been doing cinematography for years. I've also dealt with a lot of client interaction. In 2014 to 2016, I had a wedding company called A Sweet Film. Within this company, we had a catastrophic failure. There's several things that I learned about that process. First thing, I used NAS systems and also RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 5. I used every single system that you can think of. I've had every single one of these systems fail. And believe me, it's not just because I don't know what I'm talking about or that I'm not a tech guru or that I didn't have enough experience with these things. I grew up using computers. I grew up building PCs, doing all kinds of stuff. And I really thought that I had it figured out. Well, it just so happens that I was about 20 weddings in, and I had a new NAS system that I had just built in. The reason why is because we had several editors in-house. I wanted to have the majority of the people be able to connect to it and be able to be on the same workflow. A lot of the files back then were 5D Mark II, Mark III, C100, that kind of file type. So many times we would even make them proxies to try to make it really easy on the editing. What I found was that it was awesome to have a really nice NAS system. Back then, that was a 14 terabyte NAS system. And it was one of those things that I was like, man, this is awesome. I can always upgrade, I can expand, I can do these things. Well, one day while I was out, my tech decided to come in and to try to expand the pool. We already passed a certain amount of time. And unfortunately, I even saw it. I didn't get to catch it before he did it, but he went ahead and started to expand the pool without verifying that everything was backed up like in multiple. So not only did I have stuff on NAS, I also had stuff on other drives and things like that. But somewhere in the middle of this, that pool that was getting extended, if you don't understand what that is, it's like back in the day, you can have like a 14 terabyte drive and then you would add another array and a whole new you'll add a bunch of new drives and then that pool expands, or the amount of terabytes that you have expand over. So that's what he was doing. And during that time, all the footage that I had, it was about 14 terabytes. About 14 terabytes ended up in limbo. This was something that was so crazy that I even hired the people that wrote the code for the NAS system. I hired them to be on it overnight. We tried doing a bunch of different fixes for it, but the majority of that footage was lost. Like, it was just gone. It wasn't gone. It was just in limbo. It was in some kind of digital limbo, and we couldn't get to it. So what I did was I went to a company called Lifesavers. I don't know if they're still around, but if they are, they helped me out. It costed me close to like $7,000 to get back all that footage, and that didn't even include all the money I spent paying the developers. Even the developer told me that they had a conference. At one of the conferences, they had a full conversation on like what happened and how was this able to even occur with my system. So I shipped all these drives over to Lifesavers. They literally wrote new code to be able to pull back and do data recovery on that type of NAS system. And after all that, I was able to get a 99.8% recovery. That was almost 14 grand later from my pocket. Now, there's several things that I learned from that, and I think you should take away one, I should have had business insurance that covered all my drives. If I would have did that, then I could have easily claimed it, said that it was a loss, there's some kind of issue. Who knows? I mean, a lot of the insurance companies try to find ways to wiggle around there, right? They'll ask like the process, and maybe even what my data technician did wouldn't even have been covered. I have no idea. But I learned there that I can't leave all my eggs in one basket, right? Two, I also learned that I need to also have a better procedure of backing up footage, and that's where I developed the greatest tip I can ever give you for you and your stuff. What I tell everyone when they ask now, like what kind of NAS system, what kind of RAID, should we do an SSD? I tell them, don't. What do you mean by don't, right? What do I mean by don't? Why would you say don't? Essentially what I'm getting at is that you can easily write it in your contract that when you're done with the project, you can literally give them over a copy of the files. You don't even have to do the raw files. Maybe it's the final version of the project. Get them a hard drive in the contract. Let them know that when you receive your files, you are responsible for your files. The files that we have will be gone in the next month or in the next 2 weeks. We recommend that you take those files and do another backup once you get them. And a lot of people will, they won't even know this. They'll just see the hard drive and they'll be like, hey, great. And what does this mean? This means that this removes all liability from you. And I know that might not work for every client, but for me, it's been the best thing ever. Let me show you. So these are just SSDs that I have, right? These are SSDs that I use for my personal projects. We do a lot of work internally and in-house. I personally have way more than that. I have boxes filled with drives of old work that I have done. So I do back up a lot of my stuff, but I decided that I am no longer investing in a full RAID system and in a full JBOD or whatever they're called. I just decided that it's not worth keeping my clients' footage. So even now, if you look at some of my reel, I'm literally building my reel off of 720p files, 1080p files.
What?
Now, what are you crazy? Like, would you do that? Well, what if I told you that I just shot an HBO Max project and we literally filmed the whole thing in 1080p? The whole thing in 1080p. We actually filled about 40 terabytes of footage just on that project. So I did the same thing for that project. I literally grabbed 2 of those big G-RAID drives that I think they extend up to like 40 terabytes or 50 terabytes now. Filled those up, shipped them once. One went with the director back to the UK. Another one got shipped to the UK. And it's one of those things where, like, once they received it, I wiped my hands and, hey, man, we're gone. But that project came to fruition. So why 1080p? It just at the end of the day, like, I don't feel that you need to keep all the raw files anymore. Like, it's just one of those things that put in the best shots that you want into your reel. You got them saved, and just keep a copy of that. So I know a lot of people really are probably thinking like, yo, there's no way I can do that. But I'll tell you right now that if you stop offering to keep your client's footage for $100, a year or something, like that's stress.
Freaking out. I am so stressed out. I feel like I'm having a panic attack. You want to talk about stress? You want to talk about stress?
Or if like Dropbox all of a sudden like wipes your account, or what would happen? It just goes away. So this is my recommendation as a working professional that's out there doing it. Now, if you're an edit house, if you're an editor, of course, this is completely different. You need to have your RAID system. You need to have your stuff. But if you're like me, if you're a cinematographer or just someone that does like video for a client once in a while, and you're creating stuff, then man, buy 2 hard drives, buy a working drive, and buy the master drive that they can keep and that you'll ship to them. And once they have it, like, you tell them, hey, make sure to copy that because I will not be holding any footage of yours anymore. And I think that's a big stress reliever, which we definitely need to get rid of the stress in our industry. So yeah, I fully recommend that you focus on this technique because it's something that I always see people ask, like, oh, what do I do for my clients and all that? The easiest and most simple solution is finish the job, put it on a drive, ship it to them, let them know that, hey, you're responsible for your drive. Once it gets to you, it's going to be wiped from our drives in 2 weeks. Thank you so much and appreciate it. If you like these kinds of tips, and I know it's a little bit different from what maybe other people are recommending, but I think it's the most simple idea and the most simple way to keep you stress-free when you're dealing with clients. And if they're not one of your clients that are like recurring every time. But I'll tell you that even in my recurring clients, every project we do, I have a budget for hard drives. They get their hard drive, I walk away, and they have their drive. So yeah, so that's just what I recommend, especially if you're not doing anything massive at the moment. Don't stress out over, especially if you're doing weddings and things like that. Don't hold on to people's weddings for a year. Like, just send them their stuff, send them their drive. And I know everyone fights over raw footage. In the end, I'll tell you, after 10 to 15 years of experience, it doesn't matter if someone has your raw footage. I'll be very, very honest. With that said, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. We drop a video every week on this channel, and I have a bunch more cool things planned for this channel, and I can't wait to show you all that. Once again, we're trying to get to 2,500 subs by the end of next month. I hope that we can hit it there. Like, subscribe. We'll be talking soon. Peace.